Are there any constituency statements by honourable members? I call the member for Kingston.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Well, in 2007 was the year I was elected, and I, like many of my constituents, understood then that the internet was appalling. It was a schmozzle in my electorate, as it was around most of the country. And of course, one of the biggest contributing factors was indeed the copper network, and the copper network was of poor quality and meant that we barely could get ADSL in many parts of my electorate. Of course, Labor had a visionary plan to install a fibre network across my electorate. Indeed, many suburbs were the beneficiary of this. It was a great disappointment to me and the rest of my constituency that had not received that fibre network to then have the Liberal Party elected in 2013. And which they then opted for what they said at the time was going to be a cheaper model to deliver the national broadband network. In fact, Tony Abbott at the time, the previous Prime Minister, axed Labor's plan by saying it wasn't worth the government spending money on it. Of course, he at the time said it would only cost $29 billion. Well, we now know that that blew out to a cost of $57 billion, more than what Labor's original plan had been. But of course now after all these years of anguish, after all these problems my constituents have had, they've now had more copper put in the ground, meaning that their internet is limited. The Liberal Party has now said that they need to go back and install fibre. Well, this is a told you so moment. I told you so. We told you so. This was what we predicted, and it's a disaster that we're now back there. But unfortunately for my constituents, we've now found out that despite the Liberal Party saying that fibre is now the answer, that only 10% of the country is going to get this new fibre network to their premise. Well, my question to this government is, will that be the suburbs of Aberfoyle Park, Hallett Cove, Happy Valley, Flagstaff Hill, Ranella, Christie's Beach, Christie's Downs, Morphett Vale, and the list goes on? These suburbs have been struggling with poor internet, and the Liberal Party offered them only this: fibre to the node technology, where they reinstalled copper. They bought more copper and put that in the ground. I feel like a broken record. I have been talking about the need for decent internet in my electorate since 2006. Since as soon as I became a candidate, it became abundantly clear that this was a huge issue. The question for the Liberal Party is, will they finally admit their mistakes and come and install fibre to the premise in my electorate? That is what my constituents want. That is what they demand, and I expect them to turn up.